Right, hello, we are going to be talking today about how to cone down your clay during the plate making process. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready on the wheel here. As you notice, I have my bucket of water and my rib over there, and I have 1 pound of clay here I'm going to be working with. I'm going to go ahead and sit down at my wheel, turn my wheel on, get it ready to go. Might clean my wheel head here just a little bit. Perfect. Now I'm going to go ahead and start centering my clay and then work on coning up and coning down so that I can kind of show you guys how to cone down for the plate making process. So what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to go ahead and just kind of center my clay, and then after that I'll kind of talk a little bit more in depth about the cone up, cone down process. So keep the V. Remember, our first step here is to calm the clay. Do not forget about our centering position. So cone up, cone down, and really going ahead and plowing ahead and holding. Okay. So I've calmed it a little bit, keeping my hands clean. And remember to make sure you're keeping the wheel head clean to avoid any sand buildup. So come back in here, keep my V. I'm really gonna kind of pick up my speed a little bit. Remember, use my pointer finger to kind of shape a little bit on the side there. Notice I do have some lumps and bumps on this side that I'll need to continue to keep shaping to get those out of the way. Okay. I am going to just shape a little bit more before I go ahead and start coning up and coning down. Remember, there are several reasons on why we like to cone up and cone down. Remember, that also helps wedge the clay further on the wheel. It also helps the workability of the clay, and it helps it center it a lot easier. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to center it here. Really make sure you're staying in compact posture and eyes are over center. And remember, as I'm working, keep the wheel head clean. So we don't want that sand to build up. Remember, the thumb and your pointer finger is really there to help you shape. So do not forget that. Notice as my clay is spinning here, still during the centering process, it has a little wobble. So that means I'm going to continue to go in and center. And hold. Now I'm going to go in and cone up some, and then I will go down and do the cone down. So remember, coning up is where I take the V and I squeeze so the clay elongates upward. Remember, we don't need to cone up more than the height of our hand here, so I'm probably just going to do a little bit more. Squeeze. Notice my hands lift with the clay. It has elongated up. Clean my wheel head. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the cone down process. So remember, there's 2 options. The first option is the side of your hand here. Notice support, or you may use both of your thumbs to push down. I am going to show you in this one how to do the cone down with the thumbs. So notice I keep kind of the V here, but my thumbs are pushing down. If I push too hard in the middle, I get a divot there. I don't want a divot at the top. Okay, so don't push too hard directly in the center here to get that divot. So we're pushing down, and then remember, my pointer finger comes in and starts shaping. So I'm shaping. Okay. When you are coning down to create a plate, we want to be almost to this 3rd ring out here. So not quite to it, but close to it. So that means I got to continue to cone it down some more. Now you might choose to do the thumb method and the side of your hand method together. You're going to figure out what's going to work best for you and make those adjustments as you go through. So I'm just going to push a little bit more down. Bring my hand out some. Remember, notice I don't want to push too hard to get a divot there. So I'm going to bring my thumb back in here. Shape that just a little bit more. See how my pointer finger is shaping on the side here. I do have a wobble here, so that means my clay is not fully centered. This is where it might center it a little bit better. continue to work on coning down again. Remember, it's important to make sure you're in control of your speed. Too fast a speed here, notice I'm having a really fast speed, could cause my clay to get off-centered. So be in control of your speed as you're working. I'm gonna try the side of my hand method here so you can kind of see that. Slowly pull my hand outward and notice it's starting to flatten. I'm getting almost to that third ring here, which is great. Push in the center and continue to bring my hand outward towards me. Notice I'm pulling towards me, not to the right, not to the left. Okay? Clean my wheel head so I can see if I need to go any farther. Push a little bit more. Perfect. Okay, and I'm going to clean my wheel head and double check where my rings are. Am I within the third ring, and am I close to the third ring? So I'm going to go ahead, stop my wheel head, check I am pretty close to that third ring. I'm not past the third ring, and I'm not too close, so that looks really good. Also, we want to make sure as we're coning up and coning down, we are keeping the clay centered. So at this point here, this is when you would document your work during the cone down practice. So you would take a top view picture, really making sure we can see those wheel head rings, and a side view so I can see if it is flat, if there's a divot going on, or kind of any humps or lumps on the top. So this is a video, an overview of how to cone down to create that plate.